Hi. I'll explain a little bit what's been going on in the community regarding the Hepatitis C project. Everything started in fall 2015 when some of the staff went to Picogan for a Hep C presentation. Once there, we were all shocked by the numbers.
Working in the hospital, of course, I've seen a lot. I was asked once, would you like to see? He knew he wasn't going to be living for a long time. He was in his 30s. He was also Hep C, but he was too far gone to receive the help. I was very, very surprised at what I saw. These drugs that they put into them, the needles, I actually saw the bones, the nerves, holes right through the skin. Such a kind man, though. He was very, very polite, and he passed away not too long ago. And I asked him if I could share that story, and he told me not today, but someday. I'm sorry. And so today I share his story. I pray for him. I put my tobacco down. And there's many more like him out there. A lot of young people that need help. You need to hold out your hand and pull them up because they're already down. We need that.
We were just used needles, share our needles, and our friends would be bleaching using our needles. I didn't like doing that. I told people we had hepatitis C, and they still continued to use our needles. And then you showed up, and it was much better. Well, I'm glad you found us and that you can bring us clean kids.
Mon rôle est important parce que dans le fond, dans mon travail, c'est que souvent les gens qui vont consommer, ils font plus affaire avec le système. Puis mon rôle à moi, c'est de faire un pont entre les gens et pour qu'ils puissent retourner dans le système, utiliser les services, aller voir Isabelle, aller au centre de santé sur la communauté, prendre un rendez-vous à l'hôpital, prendre soin de leur santé.
Our nurses are very dedicated on bringing programs. They know the community very, very well. It was a priority that we get something going here in the community as well.
We had started the treatment about 5 years now. I would say that talking about the subjects is always the best way to get to people. The knowledge is the key, I think, to fighting back on this illness.
We started with the staff. A lot of the staff didn't know about the disease, didn't know also about harm reduction. So we informed all the staff to make sure that everybody was on board, so everybody's working on the same page.
Before we test somebody, what do you think about counseling? Because, you know, if you're going to have a positive result, that we need to have some type of support for this person, for the family, because it's quite a burden.
I believe that awareness is probably the first key in opening those doors to talking about Hep C. After that meeting or that presentation, I started questioning my own health in terms of if I was carrying the infection of Hep C. So for my own peace of mind, I did go get tested. And I'm happy to say that it was negative. I have no antibodies, I don't have the infection.
I think when other people see different, very familiar community members being strong and openly talking about their struggles, that it just kind of opens the door for other people not to be ashamed or embarrassed that things happen to everybody every day.
It's not always a drug-related issue. It could be something like a baby boomer is at risk for hepatitis C. If you've had blood products in the past, you may be at risk.
I'll tell you the way that I felt. when I first heard about hepatitis C. And I thought, oh my God, this could have big impact on my family if anyone ever got hepatitis C. Not knowing that, it's treatable and whatever. To me, it was a death sentence. And that's why I think education is such a big thing with hepatitis C. We have to get it out there, that it's not as bad as you think.
I find it was just like with AIDS, I guess, too. People, when it first came out like big in the 80s and 90s, it was like you don't even want to touch them, and then we get more educated about it, and that's what this is. I'm finding is we're getting more educated about this, and there's more people dying from this than AIDS now.
Leadership is really important with our services, because without their support, to advocate and support the community on different needs and issues, if we don't have the leadership support, then we're kind of backpedaling.
Last year when we attended the Hepatitis C conference, we were there as students ourselves. The information has really increased our knowledge of what it is, how it is sometimes identified, how sometimes it is transported from one person to another.
That sense of community is still here, it still exists, and it's really strong, and it's getting stronger when we talk about the real problems.
I think stigma around the Hep C is slowly starting to be decreased, especially when you spread understanding and non-judgmental supports around it, then I find that it's starting to decrease.
People are coming now to get tested. Like I would say, more elders or baby boomers are coming to get tested, so that worked. Other success is that we're now going into houses to meet those people that are using, just talk about everything, and they trust us, so we trust them too, and we just share a meal, and we're going to be there whenever they're going to need us. So.
It's ongoing, I find, too. Like she has these little kits that people can come and pick up, like for, I guess, people who use needles to use it clean, if they have to. We're 100% supportive of any prevention that'll help stop the spread of hepatitis C, for sure.
Good evening. I'd like to share a little bit about my story, my past, and my present, and what's happening in my life right now. It's still very hard to talk about, but I feel I need to talk about it because this is how I'm healing myself. Because when I thought about, the project itself, it's not just the project, the hepatitis C. It's where did that person come from to get to that point? Like there's a big thing there, that the truth needs to be told, and I am very honest, I'm very raw, because that's how my life is. I had a lot of anger, mostly from my childhood stuff. So I was raised by my grandparents on a reserve here till I was about 7. And then my grandfather passed away, so I went to live with my mom. When I look at my life now, I could really see that change. Or just things started to evolve for me that were not good anymore. There was so many abuses that happened, in my life. Physically, sexually, emotionally, mentally, like everything. I was just an angry person. And that was my life. It just headed into a full-time addiction. Lost my home, I lost my kids. I lost everything.
And I didn't know nothing to help Tammy. Today I'm still trying to forgive myself. I go to sweats and I go on my own healing journey, and to forgive myself of what happened to her.
A lot of people tend to give up on on their friends or family that have addiction problems. But my understanding today is to be able to see these people with an open mind, not to put anybody on or label on him that he's a street person or homeless, they're no good. Not to see them like that, but to see them as you see yourself. Treat them the way you want to be treated.
When I was using in Sudbury, they used to have it was kind of like an old hippie van, I guess, and they would come around, they'd had sandwiches and a needle exchange program. And so they came by one night and they're like, hey, we're giving out $20 if you do a blood test. We're looking for, you know, people who use needles to see if you have hepatitis C. Well, all we heard was they were giving out $20. You know, so we're all like, okay, all right, and we're all big lineup, you know. We want the $20. So that's how I got tested. And so because they always came around, they knew us, we knew them by hand. And so one of the gals came back and seen me about, I don't know, a month later or something. And she's like, Tammy, can I talk to you in the van? And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I said, you're gonna get me that $20? But she didn't. And she said, I wanted to let you know we got your results back and you tested positive for hepatitis C.
Upset at the cause of it, you know, because Tammy wasn't like that with her. In her life, I didn't choose her to do that, you know, with drugs and alcohol, and you know, I had that problem, but it really hurted me for her to have that disease. I didn't know nothing about it too much. I had to find out about it. I thought she was doing great, you know, and then this happened. So I was very devastated, but angry at drugs and alcohol that led us to that point. Yeah.
I just didn't see how that would be possible to make it through that. And to try to live in my own skin. I just want to rip my skin off. I just want to die.
I sang this song to the grandmother moon. I gave my tobacco to her, and I said, please help Tammy. She's my one and only daughter I have. And yeah. So this song, I hope I don't get emotional. It's been a while. This Strong Woman song, when I heard it, I just got goosebumps, and I want that sung. I said, for my Tammy, I can't go on anymore at the Healing Lodge where I was. I was a chef there, the cook, and me and my friend went outside, and she said, just follow me.
From that time when I was really going through my difficult time, you know, in my little padded room, I call it. That's where it began, some kind of connection that I felt. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I know what it is now today. And it sounds tacky, but this light came in. This little box of light came in on my face. This warm feeling throughout my body. And the first time, and I don't know how long, I just cried like a baby. For seemed like forever, till I had no more tears left. I was in the fetal position in that room. I knew that something happened to me at that moment, that I could do this. I really could do this. I had the door open enough to listen. You know, after meeting with my counselor and stuff, you know, she says, there's a Native treatment center here. She said, is that something maybe you would like to go to? And I said, I've been to enough treatment centers. I could run one myself. That's what I told her. And because my attitude really sucked at that time. Maybe get me their information, I'll look through it. So they sent me their package, and when I read it, again, something stood out to me. And I thought, I knew I needed something. But when I went in there, that's where I think my recovery really began. Because I went there really open. And I thought, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be, I guess. Like, I walked in and my life started to change from there.
Definitely culture plays a part of any healing, of any good way of life. If you're following the traditions of our culture, then I think you're well on your way of having a better life.
I try to live by example. I'm in over 25 years clean and sober too. I follow 4 teachings that are love, honor, respect, and generosity. And I bring that, like when I talk to the youth and the kids in the schools, or now I'm a powwow dancer, so I try to show them, just again, like showing by example, like this is a good life to live. What we call around here is Mino Bamad Ziwin, and that translates to living the good life.
As a sweat lodge carrier, in the community that practice mainstream society religion, what they call it, Roman Catholic. And it's sometimes it's hard to try and explain it to people that do go to church. And I find that having an open mind, meaning towards the community and the culture part and the religion that they practice, is to accept it and see it and respect that their belief system as my own as well. That way people will start to come around and start to ask for help.
I was really running all the time from who I was. I didn't want to be Native, I made it to the Friendship Center that one evening, Women's Circle, and wow, did I ever feel good. I felt at home, I felt welcomed. I always never belonged, eh? So I started there with my smudging, learned all about that. I didn't know about that. Lots of things. The drumming, the women were so nice, the grandmothers that I met. That's where I started.
That's what I always longed for, was from when my grandparents passed away when I was 7 years old, was that attachment to a mom that I never had with my own mom. And those Kokums would take me in their arms, the lodge, at ceremonies, and they would give me that nurturing, they would give me that love, they would tell me that I was important, that I was beautiful, that I was strong. They gave me life, they gave me so many gifts. The first thing that I received was my name from my teacher, Langford Ogama. My Anishinaabe name is Minogabewuk. And then how that translates is good standing woman. And I looked at him when he said that to me, and I burst out crying because I'm like, I'm not worthy of a name like that. He says, one day you will see that in yourself. And I told him, no, never. With all of the things that I've done in my life, what I done to my children, most importantly was my children. You know, it took me years and years to go into the lodge to ask for that healing, to ask for that forgiveness from my children. I still need to say it to them. You know, I still need to tell them how sorry I was that I left them.
C'est dur, mais c'est faisable, puis c'est d'aller chercher les ressources qui vont les aider, d'aller chercher la personne en qui ils vont avoir confiance le plus. Ce que je souhaite, c'est qu'ils puissent être heureux sans consommer puis avoir une motadite de belle vie.
First time I met Tammy, it was a few months after we went for a meeting in Pikagan, and she was here for another health issue, and then she was leaving, and I was looking at her chart, and I could see Hep C written in her history. So I was like, oh, can I ask you to come back today? I know you don't feel well, but I just seen that you have a diagnosis of Hep C, and I said, do you feel comfortable of talking about it?
So Isabel got me sent off, and she did the test, and I'm like, is that it? A little tapping on my liver, and you know? The treatment was 1 pill a day for 90 days. I can't express the gratitude that I have. To me, it was almost an acknowledgement of the work that I've done on myself during this healing journey that I'm on. And I'm so grateful to my daughters, to my parents, to all the people that support me and are very good to me. So, you know, I want to pass that message of hope to our community, to our families out there that are struggling. You know, and I feel very honored to work in our community. I just love going to work every day and trying to do whatever I can, you know, to do the best that I can in any way. So miigwech.
Well, I have some good news. You are cured.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, you are.
Cured, oh my
You
God.
are cured. So there is no sign of the virus, and basically you don't have to do a blood test to be sure in 6 months. You're cured. It's not today, and it's not going to come back.
The breath that we take is a blessing we're gifted. The burdens and weight we pray will be lifted. We look around and see value in our lives. The challenges and complications we face made easier by treasures of love in the faces. We can do so much more than just survive. With acceptance of the